get down. Everything about government is becoming increasingly opaque, and we're not really sure who is governing us and what the agenda is.
That is certainly the case, Brian. I could sit here and talk about this with you all afternoon. I'm particularly interested in the young global leaders. Like, we've known about how they've penetrated the cabinet, to quote Klaus Schwab, but I'm now thinking and seeing a lot more of them in other places. And we're going to have to dig into that more over the coming weeks. Anyway, we're off to a party. We're going to the Predators Ball with Lord Bethell of Romford. There he is, Jim Bethell in all his glory. Remember him, he's a member of the House of Lords. He's responsible for health policy. And if we just click on, we can see here, there he is, member of the House of Lords. One more click and we'll get a little bit of a briefing on him. He's responsible for health policy, and he in fact oversaw the COVID contracts and had personal ministerial responsibility for the development of the new vaccine. So he's had a terrible week and has decided to skip the country, as we'll come on to in a moment. But he's still out there. He's still issuing policy statements. So as well as being a member of the House of Lords, he's also putting out things like this, Health is Wealth, which I talked about earlier in the year. Which is a joint piece of thinking with, amongst others, David Halpern from the Behavioural Insights team. And one of the things that he talks in here about is the potential of big data, database segmentation, diagnostic tools and genomics to identify, target and intervene earlier as we transition towards preventative healthcare. That's his big thing. And he's not just shaping the market as a political figure, he's also, as is often the case these days, participating in the market as a private sector individual as well. He does both at the same time. Isn't it incredible? He's a senior advisor at the Milken Institute. They had a big strategy day a couple of weeks ago to talk about preventative healthcare. And the Milken Institute relates to this fella, Michael Milken, who was known through the 70s and the 80s as the junk bond king. We click on one. Because of his role building the junk bond market. Essentially, it's a corporate Ponzi scheme. One of the most corrupt financial players of the 70s and the 80s, ended up going to prison for a few years. And now he's a philanthropist, and we should all listen to what he has to say about the future of humanity. So they had a big event. It's the 27th year of the Milken Institute Global Conference, breathlessly covered all week by Politico, who now have a newsletter called The Global Playbook, by the way, which you should go and sign up to. And it does exactly what it says on the tin. Yeah, if you want to know what the globalists are up to, go and read the Global Playbook from Politico. An incredible lineup of speakers at the Milken Institute event. I mean, I'm really just scratching the surface. Bill Clinton, Javier Milei, Elon Musk, Usher, David Beckham was there. A whole bunch of different top-level business and political figures and celebrities. David Rubenstein from the Carlyle Group, one of the main beneficiaries from the war in Iraq, he was there as well. And obviously, that is exactly the type of crowd that our friend Jim Bethell likes to hang around with. So, onto a plane, like a rat up a drain pipe, off he goes. He's taken a photo here in the back of the plane. I'm going to wager that he didn't actually fly in that section. He had a much nicer section, probably lying down and all of that. But anyway, this is for the hoi polloi to look at. He did his big speech. Can you live to 100? There he is. Oh, I should have taken a better picture. I'm sorry, Jim. But yeah, he was up there talking about the future of global health, preventative healthcare, genomics, despite the fact that he has personally caused more damage to the British population's health than probably almost anyone who's ever lived in the whole of history. Anyway, he wasn't the only Muppet there. I'm going to talk through a few of the other people in attendance just to give you a sense of what was going on. So there were other Muppets. Well, Jim Bethell wasn't the only one. We had Sesame Street, the Sesame Workshop there, promoting climate resilience and health and the places where those things intersect. I also came across this, which was just wonderful. This really tells you everything you need to know about the current state of affairs. You've got someone from Amazon, Nancy Dalton, talking about building a world where convenience equity can be a reality for all. I suppose that means there aren't enough people who can get next day delivery on Amazon. So if we expand it so that everyone can, then that will be a more just and more fair world. Anyway, back into healthcare. Let's have a little listen to Mandy Cohen from the CDC.
we've made a lot of strides, but we have more work to do. And I want to make sure that folks who are thinking about how do we keep our economy strong, how do we keep our workforce healthy, that they think about CDC and public health at large. And because if we don't invest foundationally in our health security, everything else can get shaky on top of that.
Health security. I get really nervous when people put those two words together, as just like the Health Security Agency, the UK Health Security Agency. So she's the current head of the CDC. Bethell's gone to hang out with her, despite everything that we now know about what's been going on with the CDC and the COVID vaccination program. Also, we have here Mina Seshamani from Medicaid.
It is incumbent on all of us that we get the word out to all of our communities about the importance of prevention, about the importance of all of the changes happening, that we do want to care for you as a person. And here are things that you should ask your doctor, ask your nurse, so that we can make sure that the changes that we make in a 2,000-page payment regulation that sits in the Federal Register actually comes to life for people on the ground.
Ben, really want to care for you. Sorry, Brian.
Ben, I'm watching the clock carefully, but I must come back on this. She says, get in touch, do talk to us, talk to your doctor. But when we say to the doctors, well, tell us about the safety of vaccinations, we were all told to shut up and run away and be quiet. So these people are duplicitous. They are truly disgraceful. Sorry about that.
Don't be sorry, Brian. It's not your fault. They are absolutely hideous, aren't they? Right, and this is where Bethell, who's still working around the health system in the UK, has gone to get his ideas, share his ideas. This is where he feels comfortable. One more video, Kathy Hochul. This is just an absolute clanger, but it's just when people actually say what they think out loud, it's amazing.
Young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word a computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things. And I want the world open up to all of them, because when you have their diverse voices innovating solutions through technology, then you're really addressing society's broader challenges.
Those stupid black people who don't know what a computer is. I mean, really, what's going on? And then finally, Anne McElvoy was there. She's an Evening Standard journalist. She was interviewing Kevin McCarthy. And we were talking earlier in the week about not letting journalists or anyone forget what they did over the past few years. Anne McElvoy, this has been on my hard drive for about 2 or 3 years now, and this is coming straight back at you. The unvaccinated have become a lethal liability that we can ill afford. I don't think that you're going to regret saying that. Anyway, over to you, Brian.
Well, over to me, but I'm going to stay quiet because otherwise I'm going to chew up more time. We'll discuss more of this in UK Column A.